Good evening, students. I am Rohit, and today we will start with the new topic, that is Parliament. In the last class, we have completed the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers, and today we will start with the Parliament. Okay, so what is Parliament? So remember, the Union government has three organs. The first is legislature, the second is executive, and the third is judiciary. So the legislative organ of the Union government is known as Parliament. We can simply write Parliament as the Union legislature. Union legislature means legislative organ of the Union government is known as Parliament. So we all know the primary function of legislature is to make laws. So we can simply say the primary function of the Parliament is to make laws. So we can write here that the function of the legislature is to make laws. But remember, there are many other functions which are also performed by Parliament, but the primary function of the Parliament is to make laws. Okay, and remember, the Parliament is the Union legislature. It means the Parliament has the authority to make laws for the entire country or for any part of it. Yes, the Parliament can make laws for a part of the country or for the entire country. Okay, so the topic Parliament is under part 5th of the Constitution. And how many articles are there which deals with Parliament? It starts from Article 79 till Article 122. So these articles are related with Parliament under part 5th of the Constitution. Okay. So now with this we can start the topic Parliament. So first we will start with Article 79. Article 79 says that the Parliament of India shall consist of three. The first is the House of the People. House of the People. The second is Council of States. Second is Council of States. And the third is the President. So remember, I know many of you are aware of this fact that Parliament consists of three: Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and President. But remember, the word Lok Sabha is not used in the Constitution. In place of Lok Sabha, it is House of the People. Similarly, the word Rajya Sabha is not used in the Constitution. It is the Council of States. Why? Simply because the Indian Constitution was written originally in the English language. When we are writing something in English language, then how come we are going to use the Hindi terms Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha? So remember, in the Constitution, it is House of the People and Council of States. Okay. So the Parliament of India shall consist of lower house, that is House of the People, upper house, Council of States, and the third is the President of India. So it means Parliament consists of three parts. It means President is a part of the Parliament. Remember, President is a part of the Parliament but not a member of the Parliament. There is a difference between the two. Calling President as the member of Parliament and calling President as the part of the Parliament. So what is correct? The correct is the President is the part of the Parliament. President is a part of the Parliament and not a member of Parliament. And not a member of Parliament. Okay. So who are the members of Parliament? Simple. The members of Lok Sabha are the members of Parliament, and the members of Rajya Sabha are also known as member of Parliament. So members of Parliament consist of members of Lok Sabha and members of Rajya Sabha, but President is not a member of Parliament. In fact, according to the Constitution, under Article 59, there are conditions for the office of President, and under Article 59 it is mentioned that the President is neither a member of Parliament nor a member of state legislature. Okay, so President is not a member of Parliament. And one more thing, for those who might be aware of this term, Sansad. Remember, in Hindi we call Parliament as Sansad. So in Hindi, Parliament is Sansad. So members of Parliament in Hindi are known as Sansad. So we can collectively call House of the People and Council of State member as Sansad. Okay. So in Hindi, Parliament is Sansad. So member of parliaments, I mean Sansad means MP. So why I am saying this, because you must have heard many times this that he is the Sansad of that place. This is the Sansad. He is the Sansad. The Sansad is coming to our city. So that's why I want you to know that what is Sansad. Okay, so you should not be confused whenever you hear next time Sansad. Sansad are nothing but member of parliament. Okay, so I think we are done with article number 79. And before I move further, let me remind all these things that the parliament is the legislative organ of the union government, and that is why we are calling parliament as the union legislature. And the primary task of the legislature is to make laws. Parliament is the union legislature. It means the parliament can make laws for the entire country or for any part of it. And it comes under part 5th, article 79 to 122, and article 79 says that the parliament shall consist of these three, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and the president. Okay, now we will first of all start the basic difference between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. This is important because I have seen that many times students are confused between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. In fact, they are confused between the Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha. So what is the difference between Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha? So we will discuss that what is the exact difference between the two. Okay, but today we will understand the difference between the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Okay, when I say we will understand the difference, we will understand the difference in terms of its terminology, number of seats, duration, okay, election. Okay, we will understand the difference based on these things. So first, we will understand the names of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. See, on one side I have written Lok Sabha and on the other side I have written Rajya Sabha. So first let us discuss about the names. So according to the constitution, the name of the Lok Sabha is House of the People. This is the name of the Lok Sabha as per the Indian constitution. Okay, and the name of Rajya Sabha according to the constitution is Council of States. Okay, now a basic thing. Then how come the word Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha became so popular that in almost all the books which you see in the market, especially for competitive examination, you will find the word Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha written in place of Council of States and House of the People. Then how come these names become so popular? It was because in 1954 the Hindi names were adopted, and you have to remember this year that the Hindi names Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha were adopted in which year? It was in the year 1954. So in the year 1954, the Hindi names were adopted. Hindi names were adopted. But remember, I am using the word adopted. It means even today in the constitution, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are not mentioned. House of the People and Council of States are mentioned, but I am saying the Hindi names were adopted. So there has been no amendment in the constitution replacing House of the People with Lok Sabha and Council of States with Rajya Sabha. There is no amendment. So in the constitution it is House of the People and Council of States. But these Hindi names were adopted in 1954. So in the 1954, House of the People adopted Lok Sabha and Council of States adopted Rajya Sabha. So you have to remember the year in which the Hindi names were adopted. Now moving ahead, other names for the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. See, we can call Lok Sabha as the lower house. If Lok Sabha is the lower house, then obviously Rajya Sabha is the upper house. Lower house, upper house. Then if Lok Sabha is the first chamber, Lok Sabha is the first chamber, then Rajya Sabha is the second chamber. If Lok Sabha is the temporary chamber, if Lok Sabha is the temporary chamber, then Rajya Sabha is the permanent chamber. Permanent chamber. Okay. So when it comes to the names, then Lok Sabha is known as House of the People. In fact, House of the People is the original name of Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha is known as the lower house, first chamber, temporary chamber, and upper house, second chamber, and permanent chamber. Okay, so first we will start with the temporary and permanent. Okay, why Lok Sabha is considered as temporary and why Rajya Sabha is considered as permanent. Okay, so let us start with the permanent and temporary part. Okay, so this particular thing will be covered under the topic duration. Okay, under the subtopic duration, we will study the temporary and permanent nature of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So first, we will discuss about the Lok Sabha, that why it is temporary in nature, and then we will discuss that why Rajya Sabha is permanent in nature. Okay, so let us first start with the Lok Sabha. Okay, so we all have seen, just now we have seen that Lok Sabha is the temporary chamber. Now, why Lok Sabha is considered as temporary chamber? The answer is simple. According to the constitution, the duration of Lok Sabha is 5 years. The duration of Lok Sabha is 5 years. So can I say the life of Lok Sabha is 5 years? Okay. So the life of Lok Sabha is 5 years. It means after 5 years, Lok Sabha will automatically dissolve. You have to remember the word automatically. It means no one's authority or direction is required to dissolve the Lok Sabha. Once the 5 years are over, Lok Sabha is automatically dissolved. Okay. So the life of Lok Sabha is 5 years. But if I ask what will be the maximum life of Lok Sabha or what will be the minimum life of Lok Sabha? So according to you, these 5 years are the maximum or minimum life of Lok Sabha? Consider for a second, maximum or minimum. Then remember, it is neither maximum nor minimum. The 5 year is the normal life of Lok Sabha. So the normal life of Lok Sabha is 5 years. We cannot say 5 years is the maximum or the minimum. Why so? Remember, we have already studied in the emergency provisions chapter that the life of Lok Sabha can be extended by a law of parliament during national emergency for 1 year at a time for any length of time. So it is possible for the government to extend the life of Lok Sabha beyond the period of 5 years. And this can happen only during the national emergency. So we can simply write that during national emergency, and national emergency is under Article 352. So under Article 352, that is national emergency, we can extend the life of Lok Sabha by a law of parliament for 1 year at a time for any length of time. For 1 year at a time for any length of time. And this has happened only once in the entire history of this independent India, and it was in the 5th Lok Sabha. Okay, so 5th Lok Sabha is the only Lok Sabha the tenure of which was extended beyond the tenure of 5 years. So the 5th Lok Sabha continued for 5 years, 10 months and 6 days. Okay, 5 years, 10 months and 6 days. The only Lok Sabha that continued beyond the period of 5 years. Why? Because it was the 5th Lok Sabha in which the Indira Gandhi government imposed national emergency. So during 5th Lok Sabha, the Indira Gandhi government imposed national emergency, which continued for 21 months. We have discussed this in the separate topic, emergency provisions. Okay, so I hope this thing is clear, that we cannot call 5 years as the maximum life of Lok Sabha, obviously because of this provision, and it has happened only once. And now what about the minimum? So again, we cannot consider 5 years as the minimum life of Lok Sabha. Reason being simple, the president has the authority to dissolve the Lok Sabha between the 5 years, and this can happen only on the recommendation of Prime Minister. So on the recommendation of Prime Minister, the president can dissolve the Lok Sabha at any time. So 0 means when Lok Sabha was constituted. Okay, so from beginning till the 5 years, in between, the president can dissolve the Lok Sabha. In between these 5 years, the president can dissolve the Lok Sabha. But remember, president has no discretionary power with respect to dissolution of Lok Sabha. This can happen only on the recommendation of Prime Minister. So the president can dissolve Lok Sabha in between these 5 years only on the recommendation of the president. So we can simply write on the recommendation of the president. On the recommendation of the Prime Minister. So I hope this point is clear, and this has happened many a times that the Lok Sabha has been dissolved before the completion of 5 years. But only one example where Lok Sabha continued beyond 5 years. So I hope, right, I mean, this is clear that why we call Lok Sabha is the temporary chamber, because of this reason, that it can be extended beyond 5 and it can be dissolved before the completion of 5 years term. Now, one thing, right now we have seen what will be the life of Lok Sabha. If I ask what will be the tenure of members of Lok Sabha, see, in Lok Sabha there are around 543 members. So if I say what will be the tenure of the members of Lok Sabha, so what will be your answer? If you are thinking that the 5 years should be the answer, no, you are not wrong. I mean, you are wrong. Why? Simple. See, in the constitution, nowhere it is mentioned that the tenure of the members of Lok Sabha is 5 years. Only the life of Lok Sabha is mentioned, and the life of Lok Sabha is 5 years. So under normal circumstances, the tenure of the members of Lok Sabha is same what is for Lok Sabha, that is 5 years. But if Lok Sabha is dissolved sooner, before the completion of 5 years, then the members also, I mean, their membership is also dissolved along with Lok Sabha. So if Lok Sabha continues only for 2 years, then their membership also continues for 2 years. So in that case, we can say the tenure of the members of Lok Sabha was 2 years, because Lok Sabha was dissolved in 2 years after its formation. So if Lok Sabha continues for 6 years, then the tenure of the members of Lok Sabha is 6 years. So it means there is no tenure of the members of Lok Sabha. It all depends upon the life of Lok Sabha. If the Lok Sabha is dissolved after 3 years, then the tenure of members of Lok Sabha is 3 years. If it is dissolved after 10 years, then the tenure of the members is 10 years. So we just have to remember what will be the life of Lok Sabha. Okay, so you should not be worried about what will be the tenure of the members of Lok Sabha. It all depends upon the life of Lok Sabha. Okay, now let us see about the Rajya Sabha. Okay, so remember, it was the year 1952 in which Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha were constituted for the first time. So when Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha came into existence, it was in the year 1952 when Lok Sabha was established and Rajya Sabha was established. But from 1952 to till date, we only see that the same Rajya Sabha. In fact, we have the 18th Lok Sabha, but I mean, since 1952, we have seen 17 Lok Sabhas getting dissolved, and this is at present the 18th Lok Sabha. But in case of Rajya Sabha, you will never see first Rajya Sabha, second Rajya Sabha, 10th Rajya Sabha, 15th Rajya Sabha. But for Lok Sabha, we see 5th Lok Sabha, 10th Lok Sabha, 17th Lok Sabha, 18th Lok Sabha. Why? Because there is a life, and the life is 5 years. So Lok Sabha is subject to dissolution. That is why we call 5th Lok Sabha, 7th Lok Sabha. But for Rajya Sabha, we never say first Rajya Sabha, second Rajya Sabha, third Rajya Sabha, because Rajya Sabha is a continuing chamber. It means Rajya Sabha is not subject to dissolution. There is no provision in the constitution which mentions that the Rajya Sabha can be dissolved by the president or by any other authority, or it can be dissolved automatically after completion of these many years. No. Rajya Sabha is permanent in nature. It means it is a continuing chamber. So since 1952, we have seen only one Rajya Sabha, which is at present, you see. Okay. So there is no tenure of Rajya Sabha. So what about the members of Rajya Sabha? So what will be the tenure of the members of Rajya Sabha? Do you think if Rajya Sabha is permanent, then the members are also holding the position for lifetime? No. In India, this doesn't happen. The tenure of the members of Rajya Sabha is fixed, and it is 6 years. So for the members of Rajya Sabha, it is simple. The tenure of the members of Rajya Sabha is 6 years. Okay. And one more thing. There is an order of retirement in Rajya Sabha. Okay. Order of retirement. So remember, in Rajya Sabha, it doesn't happen that all the members come together and their 6 years are over and now they all will leave the Rajya Sabha. No, this doesn't happen. We have designed Rajya Sabha in this manner that after every 2 years, 1/3 members of Rajya Sabha retires. Okay, so this happened when the Rajya Sabha was established for the first time in 1952. At that time, we decided that the Rajya Sabha should be, Rajya Sabha should be made in this pattern that after every 2 years, 1/3 of its member should have completed 6 years. So we can simply say after 2 years, 1/3 of its member retire. It means after 2 years, 1/3 members of Rajya Sabha have completed 6 years. Okay. So what is the order of retirement in Rajya Sabha? It is after every 2 years, after every 2 years, 1/3 members of Rajya Sabha, 1/3 members of Rajya Sabha retire. Okay. So I hope this is clear that what will be the order of retirement of Rajya Sabha. It is after every 2 years, 1/3 members of Rajya Sabha retires. So it means in the beginning of every third year, there will be election and nomination for those 1/3 seats. And remember, we are using the word retire, but you should not be confused with the word retire. Here, retirement word is a misnomer. It means you should not believe that here retirement means you are retired. Now you can never become a member of Rajya Sabha. Remember, this is just a way of saying that after every 2 years, 1/3 seats are vacant. See, the fact is, after every 2 years, 1/3 members of Rajya Sabha have successfully completed their 6 years. So, upon the completion of their 6 years, we are saying after every 2 years, 1/3 of the members retire. So, but remember, those who have retired are re-eligible to become a member of Rajya Sabha. So, there is no bar that as to how many times a person can become a member of Rajya Sabha. So, you should not be confused with the word retirement or retire. You can become member of Rajya Sabha for n number of times, and same is the case with Lok Sabha. There is no particular limitation imposed by the constitution that you can become a member of Rajya Sabha only once in your entire lifetime. You can become n number of you can become member of Rajya Sabha for n number of times. So you should not be confused with the word retire. And why I am saying, because every time students usually ask, for those who do not have even the basic knowledge, they usually ask that, sir, we do not understand that why they are saying retirement. It means they will not be able to become the member of Rajya Sabha in future. No, they will be able to become the member of Rajya Sabha. Okay, so you should not be confused with the word retire. Oh, so I hope the tenure of the members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha is clear. Okay, and remember, in the first Lok Sabha, it was decided by the in the first Rajya Sabha, it was decided by the lottery system that who should retire first. So it was through lottery system that this pattern was developed. Few members were retired first, so that we can develop this pattern that after every 2 years, 1/3. Okay. So with this, the duration part is over, and now and I think this duration is under Article 83 of the Constitution. Okay. Now, after the duration of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, now we will start with the number of seats, that how many seats are there in Lok Sabha and in Rajya Sabha. So first we will start with Lok Sabha. Number of seats. Okay. So first we will discuss for the Lok Sabha. So in Lok Sabha, first we have to understand that what is the maximum strength of Lok Sabha. Okay. First we will understand the maximum strength of Lok Sabha, and then we will understand that at present what is the situation. Okay, so now remember, according to the constitution, the maximum strength of Lok Sabha is 552, but after the 104th Amendment Act, this 552 has been reduced to 550. Okay, so when it was 552, it meant that out of 552, 530 seats were reserved for the states, 20 seats for the union territories, and 2 seats were for Anglo-Indian community. Okay, so the 2 seats were for Anglo-Indian community, and on 550 seats there will be election, and on these 2 seats there will be no election, there will be nomination, and nomination will be done by the President of India, obviously on the advice of Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. But so originally there were 552 seats. So the 2 seats were for Anglo-Indian community. But by the 104th Amendment Act, which we will discuss when we will discuss the reservation part in the Parliament. So remember, by the 104th Amendment Act, the provision for the reservation for Anglo-Indian seats was done away with. Okay. Okay. So this provision has been removed from the constitution, that from now onwards there will be no a nomination for the Anglo-Indian community. Okay, so this provision is gone. Now there is no provision for nominating 2 members from Anglo-Indian community. Okay. Now what about the present condition of Lok Sabha? So at present, how many seats are there? 545. But by the 104th Amendment Act, it has been reduced to 543. So when it was 545, it meant that out of 545, 530 seats will be there for states, 13 seats for UTs, and 2 seats for Anglo-Indian. But we all know that this provision has been abolished. Okay, so 530 seats for states, 13 seats for UTs, and 2 seats were for Anglo-Indian community. But one thing that you should remember is that at present we have 543 seats, and what I have written that out of 543, 530 seats are for states and 13 seats are for UTs. Now this was before 2019, because in 2019 we had 29 states, and out of those 29, one was Jammu and Kashmir. So before 2019 or before August 2019, I mean Jammu Kashmir was considered as the state, but it was I mean the government relegated the status of Jammu Kashmir to Union Territory. So initially Jammu Kashmir was the state of this country, so Jammu Kashmir seats were in this part, but now Jammu Kashmir is a Union Territory, so the seats of Jammu and Kashmir has been transferred to here. So 6 seats were transferred from here to here. So at present we have 524 seats for states, 19 seats for UT. I hope you understood that why I have written 524 19, because earlier Jammu and Kashmir was a part of states. So the 6 seats of Jammu and Kashmir were under this category, but now Jammu Kashmir is a UT, so those 6 seats have been shifted to UTs. So that's why we see 524 and 19. So at present, how many seats are there for the states? So for 28 states we have 524 seats, and for UTs we have 19 seats. But remember, out of those 19 seats, we can simply write here. See, out of these 19 seats, 7 seats are allotted to Delhi, 5 seats for Jammu and Kashmir, 1 seat for Ladakh. Now remember, if you will search on the internet, then you will find that Jammu Kashmir has 6 seats in the Lok Sabha. But you search it properly, out of those 6 seats, 1 seat is of Ladakh. But remember, Ladakh is a different union territory, not a part of Jammu and Kashmir anymore. So that is why in many places I have seen that the number of seats of Jammu and Kashmir in Lok Sabha are 6. But the fact is, there are only 5 seats, because that 1 seat is of Ladakh, which is not a part of Jammu Kashmir anymore. Okay. So 7 seats for Delhi, 5 seats for Jammu and Kashmir, 1 seat for Ladakh, and then 2 seats for Daman, Diu and Dadra Nagar Haveli, because both are same. I mean, both have been united. Daman, Diu and Dadra Nagar Haveli. Then you distribute 1 seat to all the remaining union territories. So it will be like 19. Okay. Just remember, 7 seats for Delhi, 5 seats for Jammu and Kashmir, 1 seat for Ladakh, 2 seats for Daman, Diu, Dadra Nagar Haveli, and then remaining 1 seat should be given to each and every union territory, whichever is remaining. So this is the present distribution of the number of seats in the Lok Sabha. Okay. So and remember why this is happening. Why Delhi has 6? Because it depends upon the population. See, the seats in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are distributed on the basis of population. So if a state has, I mean, UP, let us take the example of UP. UP has the highest population. So UP will have the highest number of seats in the Lok Sabha as well as in Rajya Sabha, because in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, the seats are distributed on the basis of population. So it means that is why there is a resentment among the South Indian states when it comes to the delimitation of the Indian states, because till now the delimitation has been frozen by the 42nd and 84th Amendment Act. So till 2026, the exercise of delimitation has been frozen. So now there is a fear among the South Indian states. If the government resumes the delimitation exercise, and there will be reallocation of seats in the Lok Sabha, then obviously the South Indian states will be at disadvantage, because South Indian states have worked towards controlling the population. Okay, so they have really worked hard so that the population remains in limit. But the problem was with the North Indian states. In North Indian states, there was no proper family planning, and what we see at present, that I mean, there is no control in the northern part of the country when it comes to population. There are crores of people living in a single state. So there is a fear among the South Indian states that if the delimitation exercise happens, then obviously more number of seats will be given to the North Indian states, and South Indian states will be at disadvantage. So why I am saying they will be at disadvantage, because now it will be a simple task for the government to form the government. See, if any party wants to form government at the center, then it has to primarily focus on the North Indian states, because more number of seats are with North Indian states. So if the government simply focus on North Indian states, then it is going to win the election and will be easily able to form the government, because more number of seats are there in the northern part of the country. So that is why South Indian states are resisting the delimitation exercise. For them, what will be the benefit of controlling the population when at the end the North Indian states are going to reap the benefit of overpopulation? Okay, so this is the fear of South Indian states, and I think the fear is right. Yes, there should be fear, because at present what we really want, that there should be population control. I mean, there are no the jobs are there is scarcity of job. I mean, there are not enough jobs in the market for the youth. So we see even for few posts, and that too of peon, we find lakhs of application filed. See, for the class D job, there are crores of youth waiting to get the job. So this is the present scenario of the country, that where even for the petty jobs, there are highly educated youth running after these petty jobs, and there are millions of applications filed just for these petty jobs. Okay, so we need to really control the population. There should be proper family planning. I mean, government should be really serious about this, that what is the need of the hour, that there should be only one child to every couple. Okay, so ideally, what is the replacement level? 2.1 fertility rate is the replacement level. But the way we are moving, I think for the time being it should be one child per couple. Okay, but I don't know whether this thing will happen in the future or not. China did this, and right now China has the benefit. Yes, the population is declining. In fact, in India, the population is declining. The percentage, the growth rate is declining. That is all across the globe. All across the globe, you will find the same pattern, that there is decline in population. Okay, but in India, we need to take strict measures in order to control the population growth. Okay, especially in the northern part of the country, South Indian states have performed well when it comes to the population control. Okay, so it is time for the North Indian state to understand that overpopulation is not going to benefit us at all. Okay, so well, the fact is that no one is going to listen to me, and my words are irrelevant. I mean, no one will be bothered with my words. Leave it. So I hope the present distribution of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, I mean, of Lok Sabha is clear. So now we can start with the number of seats of Rajya Sabha. So how many seats are there in the Rajya Sabha? So again, we will first discuss the maximum number of seats in the Lok Sabha. Sorry, in the Rajya Sabha. So first, maximum strength of Rajya Sabha. So according to Constitution, how many seats are there in Rajya Sabha? There are total 550 seats in Rajya Sabha. Sorry, 250 seats in Rajya Sabha. So out of these 250, 238 seats are allotted to states and UTs. Okay, and the remaining 12 seats are allotted to those who have practical knowledge or experience. Okay, who have experience or knowledge in the field of science, arts, literature, or social service. So there are total 4 categories from which 12 members can be nominated, and yes, these 12 seats are nominated. Okay, so out of 550, 238 seats. Okay, so there will be election on 238 seats, and on the remaining 12 seats there will be nomination, and nomination will be done by the president, obviously on the advice or recommendation of the cabinet or prime minister. Remember, the provision for nominating two members of Anglo-Indian community in the Lok Sabha is gone, but still there is the nomination provision for the Rajya Sabha. So still there is provision of nominating members in the Rajya Sabha. So this provision is still intact. Okay. So this is the present composition. I mean the maximum strength of Rajya Sabha. And now what about the present situation? So the present situation of Rajya Sabha is that we have only 245 members in Rajya Sabha. And remember, there is no role of 104th Amendment Act in reducing the number of seats in Rajya Sabha. It was only for the Lok Sabha, not for Rajya Sabha. So in Rajya Sabha, we have 245 seats. Out of 245 seats, 229 seats are for states, 4 seats are for UTs, and 12 seats are for those 4 categories. Okay. And remember, sports is not mentioned in this category. Okay. Sports is not mentioned here. But remember, we take liberal interpretation of these 4 categories. So we can count sports as a form of art. Okay. So we do not have to go for a strict interpretation that art means arts. No. We will go for liberal interpretation. Okay. So that is why even those who are players belong to sports field, they can also be nominated. Okay. So now this was before Jammu Kashmir. Okay. We all know now Jammu Kashmir is UT. So when Jammu Kashmir was a state, the Jammu Kashmir was part of these 229 seats. But now Jammu Kashmir UT, so the seats are transferred from states to UT. So at present, 4 seats have been transferred to the UT section. So right now we have 225 seats for states, 8 seats for UTs, okay, and 12 seats remain same. So now out of these 8 seats, 4 seats are for Jammu and Kashmir, 3 seats for Delhi, and the remaining 1 is for Puducherry. Okay. And now remember, I know I have discussed this earlier that the seats in the Rajya Sabha are also distributed on the basis of population. But remember, in Lok Sabha, all the UTs have representation in Lok Sabha. See, we know even the smallest union territory has one seat, at least one seat they have in the Lok Sabha. So all union territories have representation in the Lok Sabha. But when it comes to Rajya Sabha, all union territories do not have representation in Rajya Sabha. Only 3 UTs have representation and their names have been written here: Jammu Kashmir, Delhi and Puducherry. Now what is the logic behind this, that why only 3 UTs have representation in the Rajya Sabha? So the answer is simple: the population. The remaining union territories which have not gotten any representation in the Rajya Sabha, it is because they do not have the population. They do not have the sufficient population to ensure their representation in the Rajya Sabha. So it is because of the population. And there can be also one more reason, that is only these 3 union territories have legislative assembly. See, why I am saying legislative assembly, because the members of Rajya Sabha are elected by the members of legislative assembly. So only these 3 UTs have legislative assembly, and only the members of legislative assembly will vote for the members of Rajya Sabha. So other UTs do not have legislative assembly, and one more reason, and the main reason, is they do not have sufficient population for ensuring representation in the Rajya Sabha. So this was the present composition of Rajya Sabha. So the election is on 233 seats, and on the remaining 12 seats there are nomination. Okay. So with this, the distribution of seats in both the houses is over, and now we can start with the election. That who will participate in the election, what will be the method of election in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Now we will discuss with the election and the method of election for both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So let us start for Lok Sabha. We will discuss the election and method of election. Okay. So first we will see for the Lok Sabha. So now you try to understand, Lok Sabha represents the people of India. Okay. Lok Sabha represents the people of India. Why? Simply, the general public participates in the election of the Lok Sabha. So who participates in the election of Lok Sabha? We participate in the election of Lok Sabha. Why? Because Lok Sabha represents the people of India, and it will be able to represent the people of India only when we will participate in the election. Okay, so we all know Lok Sabha represents the people of India, so it will be possible only when the general public is going to participate in the election. Now, who will participate in the election? All? No, only those who are of 18 years or above. So those citizens of India who are of 18 years or above are eligible to vote in the election of Lok Sabha and Legislative Assembly. Okay, because the same is the case with the Legislative Assembly, and this thing is mentioned under Article 326. So under Article 326 of the Constitution, it is mentioned that those citizens who are of 18 years or above are eligible to cast vote in the elections of Lok Sabha and Legislative Assembly, that is in the Vidhan Sabha. So it means there is no discrimination on the ground of caste, religion. It means be it a man or women, they both have equal right. I mean, they all have one vote. So it doesn't matter to which caste you belong, you have one single vote. To which religion you belong, it doesn't matter. Whether you are majority or minority, you have one single vote. Men or women, they have one single vote. So it means we all have one vote, one value. Okay, so it means all are eligible to vote, all those who are above 18 years of age or of 18 years. Why I am saying this? Because during the times of Britishers, there was a condition that only those people were allowed to vote who were rich and who paid taxes or who possessed property. Okay, and sometimes there were restrictions even upon on the ground of sex, that only male were allowed to vote and not women. In fact, across the globe, this was the common pattern, that only males were allowed to vote, while the only function of women was to take care of house. So earlier people didn't consider women as the right person or right audience to cast vote, because they thought that only male should have the authority or should have the privilege to cast vote in the election. They should have the say in the making of the government and not women, because the task of women is to take care of the house and family. So earlier there were such restrictions that only males were allowed to vote, only the rich class were allowed to vote, and then those who possess property, paid taxes, only they were allowed to vote. So at present, if we talk about our country, then all have the right, be it unemployed or unemployed person who is paying taxes or not paying taxes, whether you are male or female, it doesn't matter, all can vote. So it means we have the universal concept. So this concept is known as universal adult franchise. So universal means all are eligible to vote. There will be no discrimination on the ground of rich or poor, whether you're official or you're not an official, whether you pay taxes or you do not pay taxes, men or women, no. There will be no discrimination, or all are eligible to cast vote. So this is called as universal adult franchise. And under which part of the Constitution this concept is mentioned? So the concept of universal adult franchise is mentioned under Article 326. And remember, it was only during the government of Rajiv Gandhi that the voting age was reduced from 21 to 18 years. So earlier, before 1988, the voting age was 21 years. But it was during the Rajiv Gandhi government that the voting age was reduced from 21 to 18 years. And this was done by the 61st Constitutional Amendment Act of 1988. So we can write that earlier the voting age was 21 years. Now it has been reduced to 18 years. So this was done by 61st Constitutional Amendment Act 1988, and at this time the government was of the Rajiv Gandhi. So it was the Rajiv Gandhi government which reduced the voting age from 21 to 18 years. So this amendment amended the Article 326, and under Article 326, where 21 was written, that was changed to 18 years. Okay, so this is the elections of Lok Sabha, that who participates in the elections of Lok Sabha. And remember, the same is the case with the with the Legislative Assembly, because in Lok Sabha and in Legislative Assembly, in both the houses, we participate in the election, and the concept is same, 18 or 18 years above. So you will vote in the elections of Lok Sabha as well as Legislative Assembly. Okay. Now, what about the Rajya Sabha? So in Rajya Sabha, we do not participate. Why? Because Rajya Sabha represents the states of this country. Rajya Sabha does not represent the people of India. That is why we do not participate in the elections of Rajya Sabha. From the name you can understand, Rajya Sabha, Council of States, means it is going to represent the state. Now there is a general misconception among the students that the members of Lok Sabha participate in the elections of Rajya Sabha. So the members of Rajya Sabha are elected by the members of Lok Sabha. How come this will be possible? I mean, Rajya Sabha represents the states of this country. Rajya Sabha is not going to represent the members of Lok Sabha. Do you really think that Rajya Sabha will represent the Lok Sabha? No. Then why the members of Lok Sabha should participate in the election of Rajya Sabha? Rajya Sabha is going to represent the states. So that is why in the elections of Rajya Sabha, the members of State Legislative Assembly are going to participate. So who are going to participate in the election of Rajya Sabha? It is the members of the State Legislative Assemblies. Okay. So members of the State Legislative Assemblies are going to participate in the elections of Rajya Sabha. Okay. So there will be no role of members of Lok Sabha in electing the members of Rajya Sabha. Okay. So basically it is the elected MLA. We can simply call them as MLA because members of Legislative Assembly are called as MLAs. Okay. So we can simply say elected MLA participates in the election of Rajya Sabha, and in the Lok Sabha we participate. Now this was the election of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, that who participates in the election of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Now what about the method of election of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha? Let us see. See, when it comes to the method of election of Lok Sabha, what is the method of election of Lok Sabha? Method of election of Lok Sabha. So for Lok Sabha, the method of election is, now this method which I am going to write is considered as the worst election method. Okay. This election method is known as first past the post. This particular method is considered to be the worst electoral method for conducting elections. Why I am saying the worst method? It is because we decide whether a method is good or bad on the basis of the wastage of votes. The highest amount of votes are wasted in this method. Okay, so because of the amount of wastage that you see in this election of votes is the main reason that why I am calling that this particular method is the worst method for conducting election. Now the question arises, then why we are still following the same election method? It is because this is the simplest method of all the electoral methods used for conducting elections. So this is the simplest method of all. And when we attained independence, at that time majority of the population in this country was illiterate. So they would not be able to understand the complicated system. For example, system of proportional representation, they wouldn't be able to understand that system because at that time majority was illiterate. But that was at that time. But today, I mean, even those who are illiterate are able to operate a cell phone or a mobile phone, a smartphone. So at present, I think majority of the people are able to use a smartphone. So it means today we have reached that stage that we can change the method of election for Lok Sabha, and we can use another method which is far more representative than this method, and where the amount of wastage of votes will be reduced. But there is a need that we should get rid of this election method. Okay. So this is the worst method, but we are still using the same method. So for Lok Sabha, it is the first past the post, and for Rajya Sabha, the method of election is system of proportional representation, system of proportional representation by means of single transferable vote. This is the method of election for Rajya Sabha, and remember, the same method is used for the election of the president and vice president. The same method is used for Lok Sabha, the same method is used for president, vice president, for Rajya Sabha, and also for legislative council. The same method is used. Okay. So this method is considered to be far better than this method, because here the seats are distributed or allotted on the basis of the proportion, okay, or on the basis of the number of seats they have. So accordingly, the seats will be allotted on the basis of proportion or strength. So this is considered to be a better system, but this system makes sense only when there are multiple seats to be filled from the same place, okay, because here we are talking about the proportional representation. So when only one person is going to be elected from that particular place, so that this system doesn't make any sense. Instead of this first past the post, the best system that should be used for conducting elections to the Lok Sabha and Legislative Assembly is the list system. Okay. See, system of proportional representation is of two types. First is single transferable vote, and the second is the list system that we usually see in the Germany. So the German system, where it is the list system. So the list system, I'm again saying list system, LIST. List system is considered to be the best system at present, where there is the least amount of wastage of votes. So we should also go for list system, but right now there is no such discussion in the public domain. See, I always keep on saying these things, that we are not concerned about the real issues that are plaguing the country. We are concerned about the useless and nonsense topics. We should be concerned about, see, if we are really mature and literate, no, then we should be concerned about that why we are still using this method where there is highest amount of wastage of vote. Why we are still using? We should adopt a better method. But do you think that we are going to even think in this direction? No, we are not going to think in this direction, because we are already preoccupied with useless and nonsense topics. And those useless and nonsense topics are still shown on the national television. We should be concerned about the other things which are really important for us. But the fate of this country is that the public is busy in discussing the useless things. Okay, well, there is no point in discussing all these points, because no one is going to listen to us. Okay, so I think we are done with the method of election and elections. Okay, so on Monday we will discuss the remaining portion of the parliament, because this particular topic is time consuming. There are many things which we have to discuss, the reservation of seats, delimitation, then the dissolution of Lok Sabha, sessions of, there are many things that we will discuss. Okay, so thank you everyone. We'll meet tomorrow. We will meet on Monday. Okay, same timing, 8:30 to 9:30. And please do not forget to subscribe. Okay, so thank you everyone.